Welcome back to the Future Strong podcast. We've got some really interesting stuff to dig into today.
Yeah, definitely.
You sent over an internal memo from Tobias Lübke at Shopify and a PYM and TS intelligence report about how workers are feeling about generative AI.
Right.
It seems like Shopify is taking AI pretty seriously.
Yeah, they're going all in.
Making it a core skill.
A baseline.
Yeah, for everyone on the team.
Yeah, for every employee.
So let's unpack this a little bit and see what it means for Shopify. But maybe even for all of us and how we think about work and technology.
Absolutely.
So this memo from Lübke, which he posted publicly after it leaked. It's very clear.
Very clear.
It's not just a suggestion.
Not at all.
It's a fundamental shift.
Yeah, a new expectation.
He calls using AI a baseline expectation now for every employee at Shopify.
Every single one.
So this baseline expectation, that sounds like a big change.
It is a big change.
The memo points out that the people selling on Shopify,
the merchants,
right, are increasingly using AI themselves.
Exactly.
So for Shopify to keep giving them the best tools, they need to be ahead of the curve.
Yeah, they need to be leading the way.
Right.
Absolutely.
So how does this connect to Shopify's bigger picture?
Well, I think that's a crucial point. Shopify's goal is to help entrepreneurs succeed.
Right.
And what Lübke is saying is that by ensuring that their own team is really skilled with AI, they can ultimately offer even better support and tools to those entrepreneurs.
Right.
It's about equipping their internal people with the cutting-edge tech that their users will also be leveraging.
Right. So it's not just about building tools for their merchants. It's about using those tools themselves.
Exactly. Using them internally to better understand them.
Right.
And to see how they can be improved.
And this wasn't always the case, right?
Oh, this is a shift.
He mentions last year encouraging employees.
Yeah, to tinker with AI.
To tinker, yeah.
Right. So what do you think made them go from this kind of casual suggestion to this very firm requirement?
Well, that's a great question. And I think it brings up an important point about how quickly AI is evolving.
Right.
Lübke himself felt that just suggesting it wasn't enough. You know what's really interesting is the realization that you don't just passively learn to use AI well. It takes active engagement and consistent practice.
Right.
He even uses this great analogy saying Shopify is in a Red Queen race. Where you have to keep improving just to stay competitive.
Right.
And now AI is seen as that key to accelerating that improvement.
So not only is it about staying ahead of the competition, it's about staying ahead internally.
Yeah, it's about continuous improvement within the company as well.
There's one thing that really stood out to me in this memo. He explicitly says that not learning how to effectively use AI isn't an option and could lead to falling behind.
Right.
That's a pretty strong statement.
It shows how seriously they're taking this. Yeah, to make to your entire workforce.
Yeah, it's a clear message.
So what does that tell us about their commitment to AI?
Well, it really highlights how crucial they believe AI will be. He makes this point that AI can act as a multiplier for your existing skills. So if you choose not to learn it, you're essentially limiting what you can achieve.
Right.
He even talks about seeing colleagues become dramatically more productive by using AI regularly.
So it's not just about individual output. It sounds like it's about a fundamental rethinking of how work is done across Shopify.
That's right.
The memo also gets into some very practical ways that this new expectation will be implemented.
Yeah, practical implications are important.
So let's get into that a little bit.
Okay, sure.
What are some of the things that they're doing to actually make sure people are developing these skills?
Well, for instance, they're integrating AI into the GSD prototype phase of projects.
GSD?
Yeah, get stuff done. This early stage is now going to involve leveraging AI to speed up learning and information gathering right from the start of any new project.
So instead of doing all the, research and brainstorming themselves, they're going to be using AI.
They'll be using AI to assist them.
To help them do that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And this could really accelerate their development process.
Right. And it sounds like they're also building in ways to make sure people are actually developing these AI skills, adding questions about AI usage to performance reviews and peer feedback.
That's right.
Seems like a very clear way to encourage this.
It's about accountability.
Right.
It's not enough to just say it's an expectation.
Right.
They're creating systems to track progress and provide encouragement.
So it's not just about, saying, hey, you have to use AI now. It's about
integrating it into the entire process.
yeah, integrating it into the whole
Exactly.
work culture.
The fact that they expect employees to share what they're learning about AI internally through their chat and Slack channels, like hashtag RevenueEye use cases and hashtag NiCentors,
Right.
really shows they're prioritizing collective learning in this new environment.
So helping people kind of, learn from each other.
Exactly. Share best practices
Yeah.
and learn together.
One thing that really caught my attention was the point about teams needing to justify why they need more people or resources
Instead of using AI.
instead of using AI.
Right?
That seems like a very direct way
It is.
to push AI adoption.
It really forces a fundamental reevaluation
Yeah.
of how teams are structured
Yeah.
and how resources are allocated.
Right. So really thinking about, okay, can we do this with AI?
Exactly.
Before we bring in more people.
There's a-
The mention it, autonomous AI agents, really makes you think about a future
It does.
where AI could handle entire tasks
Yeah.
that previously required humans.
It's a glimpse into a potential future
Right.
where AI plays an even more significant role.
So let's step back for a second and look at the bigger picture. With this PYM-NTS intelligence report, this gives us a wider view on how people in general are thinking about generative AI.
Right, the broader context.
Right. What does this tell us about how people are feeling about this technology?
Well, it presents an interesting contrast.
Yeah.
On one hand, a large majority of people who use generative AI weekly, 82% agree that it can make them more productive. That definitely aligns with why Shopify is pushing this so hard.
Right. They're seeing that productivity gain.
Exactly.
But then there's this other side to it.
Right. There's
this concern about job security. The report found that 50% of those weekly Gen AI users are worried about potential job losses.
Right.
Which is much higher than the 24% of people who aren't familiar with it.
That's a significant difference.
So how do we balance these two things?
Well, that's the big question.
Right.
This raises a really important point. For companies like Shopify, while they're clearly excited about the productivity benefits, they also need to think about how their employees might be feeling about this and address any anxieties about their roles.
So what are some ways that they can do that?
Well, it highlights the need for clear communication
Okay.
and maybe even opportunities for retraining.
So helping people adapt to this new reality.
That's exact.
Right, where AI is becoming more and more prevalent.
And where their roles might be changing.
Right. So looking ahead, what seems to be Shopify's overall vision for the future in this AI-driven world?
So if we connect it all together, Lütke's memo is quite explicit. He believes AI will totally change Shopify, our work, and the rest of our lives.
So it's not just about, changing how they do business. It's about changing.
Well, it's about a much broader impact.
Yeah, the whole way that we live and work.
Their big goal is to essentially redefine what it means to be an entrepreneur in a world where AI is readily available to everyone.
So adapting to this new reality where AI is a tool that everyone has access to.
And seeing how that changes the landscape of entrepreneurship.
Right. And it sounds like their plans for their product are directly tied to this.
They are.
With a big focus on incorporating AI to better achieve their mission.
Right. Aligning their product roadmap with this vision of an AI-powered future.
Of empowering the people who use their platform. So ultimately, as Lütke says, the aim is to amplify the collective skills and ambition of their employees through AI.
That's the key, using AI as a force multiplier.
And that increased capacity will directly benefit the merchants on their platform.
It's a very clear and ambitious direction.
It is.
That they're heading in.
So this move by Shopify really shows a deep commitment to making AI a core part of everything they do.
A fundamental part.
It's fascinating to see a company that empowers so many businesses now pushing its own team to fundamentally change how they work with this technology.
And the data from the PYM-NTS report adds another layer, showing both the potential for increased productivity and the worries that workers have about what this means for their jobs.
Right. So this tension between, the positive and the negative.
Exactly. The benefits and the concerns.
This brings up a crucial point for all of us. As AI becomes more integrated into our workplaces, how do we find the right balance between the potential for greater efficiency And the need for continuous learning and adaptation.
That's a challenge we all face.
Right. The world of work is definitely changing quickly.
It is evolving rapidly.
And Shopify's approach gives us a real-world example to think about.
A case study.
So as you're listening to this, think about what fundamental shifts in your own approach to work or learning might be necessary as AI becomes more prevalent.
It's a question worth pondering.
It is. Thanks for listening.